easy and then it's going to increase in difficulty. So we have our question number 1. So the table shows some information about the weight of 50 potatoes. Ivita drew this frequency polygon for the information in the table. The frequency polygon is not fully correct. Write down 2 things that are wrong with the frequency polygon. So we need to write down 2 things that are wrong with this frequency polygon. So in the chat, what do you think is wrong? I can already spot one thing that is wrong, as you can see. So as you guys can see, that this point and this point over here are not supposed to connect to each other like this. They're connected like this. They are not supposed to be connected. So we have to write the first and last points should not be connected. And then what is the other one? What is the other mistake? Should not be connected. Yes, and the other one is that the first point is placed incorrectly. As you can see, that it should be 15 and 16. 15 as the x-axis and 6 as the y-axis, because whenever you're doing frequency polygons, you have to do the midpoint. So the first point should be at 15, 16. The first point should be at 15, 16. Okay. That was an easy first page. So give a thumbs up in the chat if you're ready to move on to the next question. And guys, share this live to your friends. Share your live to your friends. So, moving on to our next question. Question number 2. The length of a pencil is 128 millimeters, correct to the nearest millimeter. Complete the error interval for the length of the pencil. We need to complete the error interval for the length of the pencil. So we know that it is rounded to the nearest millimeter, meaning that we have to basically write it in equality to like show what's the range that our number can be. So most of the time they have to like subtract 0.5. If it's to the nearest millimeter, you minus 0.5 and then you add 0.5. So you're gonna get 127.5 and then 128.5. And guys, remember, it's not 128.4 because look at this inequality sign. It means less than and it's not equal to. Okay, less than or not equal to. If you put 128.4, it's going to be incorrect because 128.4 is one of the ranges that it can be equal to. Okay, just remember that, and that is easy. 2 marks. You can get 2 marks. So now, question number 3. So Tom and Adam have a total of 240 stamps. The ratio of the number of stamps Tom's to the number of Tom's stamps to the number of Adam's stamps is 3:7. Tom buys some stamps from Adam. The ratio of the number of Tom's stamp to the number of Adam's stamp is now 3:5. How many stamps does Tom buy from Adam? You must show all your working. So the first thing we have to do, you have to work out how much they had before they bought it. So, bought it. So we have 3:7. So we're going to share 3:7, share the number 240 in the ratio 3:7. So we have 3:7 here. We know the total part is going to be 10 parts to the ratio. Going to be the same. And then we are going to do 240 divided by 10, which is equal to 24. And then we're going to times it by each part of the ratio. 24 times 3 is going to be 72. And then 24 times 7 is going to be 168. Now, guys, remember, this is paper 2, so you are allowed to use a calculator. So you basically split this in our ratio, and this is the number of Tom stamps to the number of Adam stamps. So Tom to Adam, okay? This is how much Adam has, and this is how much Tom has. Now, it says Tom buys some stamps from Adam. The ratio of number of Tom stamps to the number of Adam's stamp is now 3 to 5. So next thing we have to do, we're going to share this ratio 3 to 5 and share it between 240 stamps. It's going to be 24 times 3. We're going to do 24 times 3 to get 90. Actually, this time is going to be different because now the ratio is different. So actually now from 3 to 5, it has a total of 8 parts. So we're going to multiply it differently now. So it has a total of 8 parts. So if we do 240 divided by 8 is going to be 30 stamps per ratio. Okay, 30 stamps per one ratio. So we're going to do 30 times 3 to give us 90, and then 30 times 5 to give us 150. So that is going to be the ratio 30 to 90 to 150. So now we need to work out how many stamps does Tom buy from Adam. So this is from Tom to Adam. So we have to do 90 minus 72 to see how much he buys. It's going to be 90 minus 72, which is going to give us 18. Okay, it's going to be 18. 18 is our answer. So we have to work out how much he buys. So we have to do 90 minus 72. So we worked out by using our ratio from there. Okay? So guys, give a thumbs up in the chat if you're ready to move on to our next question. And do not forget to follow guys. I do live every single day. Don't want to miss out. So, moving on to our next question. So each person in a fitness club is going to get a free gift. Stan is going to order the gifts. Stan takes a sample of 50 people in the fitness club. He asks each person to tell him the gift they would like. The table shows information about his results. There are 700 people in the fitness club. Work out how many sport bags Stan should order. So we have to work out the fraction of sports bag by using this table. So there were 17 people said they wanted a sports bag out of 50. So 17 out of 50. 17 out of 50 people said that they wanted a sports bag. So what we're going to do, I just have to multiply it by 700 to get to 238, and that will be your answer. Or what else you can do, that's another method. And the other method, what you can do is that you can do just 700 divided by 50, which will get you 14, and then 14 times 17, which is the number of people, to get you the same answer, 238. Okay? And that will be your answer, 238. So I think this method is the one you should use. So you should use 700 divided by 50, which is 14. So it's like 700 divided by 50 is going to give you 14. They have to do 14 times 17 to get 238. So 238 people would choose the sports bag. Yes, you're dividing by 700 because there's 700 people in total. So now it says, now write down any assumptions you made and explain how this can affect your answer. So this is paper 2, guys. It's paper 2. Paper 2 calculator higher. So what we basically estimate is that the people in the samples are representatives. The people in the sample are representatives. So we do not know if all of them like it. Okay, so there might be an unequal amount of people. Okay, we don't know what people like. We do not know what they like. Just need to write that. So give a thumbs up in the chat if you understand and ready to move on to our next question. This is paper 3. Paper 2. I keep on saying paper 3. It's paper 2. You can say any answer, but you just have to like back it up. But assumptions is like what you assume, basically what you think. So moving on to our next question. So here we have 6 graphs. We need to write down the letter of the graph that could have the answer y is equal to x cubed. Y is equal to x cubed. So this is a cubic graph, right? It's a cubic graph. So y is equal to x cubed. So in the chat, tell me what graph represents y is equal to x cubed in the chat. Which graph over here shows y is equal to x cubed? So I'm getting lots of answers. I'm gonna wait like 5 more seconds. More answers. 5, 4, 3. I don't think anyone got the answer correct yet. No one's getting the answer correct. It's a cubic. The answer it's F, guys. It's F. It's F. It's F. It's F. Look at this one, okay? It's F. It's this one over here. Okay, it's F. You just need to know what it looks like, okay? And now we have a reciprocal graph over here. So in the chat, tell me what you think the next one is. So y is equal to 1 over x. This one's the easiest one. I don't know if you can get that one wrong. It's the reciprocal graph. Reciprocal. So it's going to be D. Well done, guys, for getting that correct. It is going to be D. That was easy 2 marks. Easy 2 marks you could get. D is D. Well done, guys. Why is it D? Because reciprocal graphs always look like this. Always look like this, okay? Now, it can be C or D, but in this case, if it was a negative reciprocal, then it would have been this one. But since it's a positive reciprocal, then it's going to be this one. You just need to know your shapes. And then it is F for this one because this is what like a cubic graph looks like, literally. Okay? So, let's move on to our next question. What graph is B? It makes a S shape. It makes a S shape. But this one makes a S shape as well. The thing is y is equal to x cubed, meaning that it's going to be like this. Is not going to be like a swirly one, okay? You need to be careful, guys. Okay? So, moving on to our next question, guys. Do not forget to follow. I do live every single day. Now, question number 6. The nth term of a sequence is 2n squared minus 1. The nth term of a different sequence is 40 minus n squared. Show that there's only one number that is in both of these equations. We have to show that there's only one number that is in both of these equations. So the way you would do this basically is literally list them out. So what we're going to do, we're going to replace, since this is a calculator paper, you can just list them out so it can be trial and error. So we're going to do 2, 1 squared minus 1, and we're going to do it for every single value going up, and we're going to see which number they have in common. Okay, so we have to basically, let's go up to 5 squared. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing with this one. So 40 minus 1 squared, and then 40 minus 2 squared, 40 minus 3 squared. Let's see what you will get, and we're going to see if there is a common number in them. Okay, so 2. So you basically put this into your calculator. So 2 and 1 squared is going to be 2 minus 1 is going to be 1, 7, 17, 31, and 49. And then you're going to get 39, 36, 31, and 24. And guess what? We find a common number. That common number is right here. We have 31 here and 31 here. And that is basically our answer, 31. Okay? So I think this method will be the best one to use this, to solve this question. Because like, I don't think it's like an algebraic way to do this. Yeah, this is the higher paper, guys, the higher paper. So, moving on to our next question. We have to work out 3.42 times 10 to the power negative 7, and then divided by 7.5 times 10 to the power negative 6. So guys, we do not have to, normally on the non-calculator paper, you have to like do 3.42 divided by 7.5, or that you have to use your rules. But in this case, since this is the calculator paper, you basically put this into your calculator, just like how it is. Use the bracket as well to get the accurate answer. You would get 0.0456 when you put it into your calculator. Now it says you put your answer in standard form. So then you have to just put it in standard form. So our standard form is just going to be 4.56 times 10 to the power of negative 2. Because it's going to be 1, 2 spaces backwards. So 4.56 times 10 to the power of negative 2. And that will be your answer. Okay? Super, super easy. 2 marks there as well. 3 marks for this question and 2 marks for this question. So we have thumbs up in the chat if you're ready to move on to our next question. And please ask questions, guys, in the chat if you do not understand. So let's move on to question number 8. So the number of days that it will take to build a home is given by D is equal to 720 divided by N. N is the number of workers used each day. Ali's company will take 40 days to build the house. Haley's company will take 30 days to build the house. Haley's company will have to use more workers each day than Ali's company. How many more? So basically we have to work out how many workers each one of them will need, and we have to work out the difference. So we're going to use the formula. So to work out the number of workers, we have to rearrange this formula. To rearrange this formula to work out the number of numbers, N is going to be equal to 720 divided by the number of days. The N is the number of workers. Then we're going to work out how many Ali needs, how many workers Ali has. So we're going to substitute in 720 divided by 40. that will give you the number of workers. So we know that it's going to be equal to 18. So Ali has 18 workers. Now I'm going to do the same with Haley. So Haley right here, we're going to use the same formula. We're going to do 720 divided by 30 days instead. It's going to be 24 workers. And then we need to work out how many more workers they have from how many more Haley has. So you have to do 24 minus 18, work out the difference, which will be 6. And that will be your answer, 6. Super simple. You just have to use your formula and then substitute it in, work out how many workers there are, and find the difference. Well done, guys. You're getting that correct. Yes, the first questions on the paper you cannot get wrong. Literally, those are the questions you have to get correct to secure your top grades. Literally. Okay. Moving on to our next question, guys. So, question number 9. The diagram shows a cube and a cuboid. The total surface area of the cube is equal to the total surface area of the cuboid. Janet says the volume of the cube is equal to the volume of the cuboid. Is Janet correct? So the first thing you have to do is we have to work out the total surface area of our cuboid. After we have done that, then we know that's going to be equal to the total surface area of the cube, and then we will work out the volume of the cube, and then we're going to work out the volume of the cuboid, and we have to see if they are the same. So let's do that. So to work out the surface area of our cuboid, so it's going to be, we know that the front over, so this is going to be 54, 6 times 8. 6 times 8 is going to give us 48, plus 48 again, so there's going to be back and the front, plus 48. That's going to be the values we're going to add up. And there's going to be the side over here, so it's going to be 6 times 18. 6 times 18 is going to give us 108. 108 plus 108, because they're 2 back and front. And then we have to do 8 times 18 to get the top and the bottom. 8 times 18 going to give us 144 plus 144. And then when you add them all up, you would get 600 centimeters squared. Remember, guys, this is our total surface area of our cuboid. So that is the total surface area of the cuboid, okay? Now, once you have worked out the total surface area of the cuboid, now you know that that is going to be that's going to be equal to the surface area of our cube. So now we know that the total surface area of the cuboid is 600 centimeters squared. The total surface area of our cube has the same surface area. So we know that a cube has 6 sides. So we're going to work out what is the surface area of one face of the cube, as we know that the faces are equal in length in a cube. So we're going to do 600 divided by 6 to get 100 centimeter squared, 1 centimeter squared. That is the area of the face, okay, of the cube. Now we worked out the area of our cube, this face of the cube. Then we have to work out the length. This length over here we have to work out. So we know that in a cube, all the sides are equal in length. So we have to just do the square root of 100 to get 10 centimeters. And that is the length of each side. It's going to be 10 centimeters over here, 10 centimeters over here as well. Now we know that. What we're going to do, we're going to work out the volume. So the volume of the cube. So we're going to work out the volume of the cube first. So the volume of the cube, is going to be 10 times 10 times 10. So there's going to be length times width times height. It's going to be 1000 centimeter cubed. Now once you've done that, we're going to do the same thing but with our cuboid. So the volume of cuboid is going to be equal to the length, which is 6 times 8 times 18, which will get you 864 centimeter cubed. So now our final question. So Janet says that the volume of the cube is equal to the volume of the cuboid. So in the chat, tell me, is she wrong or is she correct? Is Janet wrong or correct? Right? No or yes? Is she correct or not? Yes, obviously, guys, you should know she's wrong because we know that they do not have the same volume. So then we just write a big no at the end. Just like that. Easy 5 marks. 5 marks. Done. Okay? So well done, guys, for getting that correct. So give a thumbs up in the chat if you're ready to move on to our next question. So, question number 10. We need to make k the subject of the formula. So y is equal to square root of 2m minus k. So when it says to make something the subject of the formula, we have to make that specific letter on its own on the other side of the equal sign. So the first thing we have to do with this equation, we have to first of all get rid of our square root sign. So we have to do this opposite of rooting, which is going to be the squaring. So we're going to square both sides. Square both sides. We're going to end up with y squared is equal to 2m minus k. So we squared both sides. It cancelled out with the roots, and then it got to that y is going to be y squared minus 2m minus k. So then what we're going to do, we are going to first of all add the k. We're going to add the k first on both sides to get k, y squared plus k is equal to 2m. Why are we doing it? Because we do not want a negative k, so we have to move the k on this side of our equation because we do not want a negative k. And then next, what we need to do, we have to minus y squared from both sides to make a k on its own, and then we're going to end up with k is equal to 2m minus y squared. And that will be your answer. So k is equal to 2m minus y squared. Where do you get this paper? I got this paper from Math Genius, a free website that you can use for revision, and you can get past papers for all exam boards, Edexcel, OCR, Edquis, all of the names. Okay? That was an easy 2-mark question. Question number 10 done. So in the chat, tell me, do you guys like box plots? Do you guys like box plots? Or do you know what box plots is? So you probably have guessed it because I do this every single time. So we know that our next question is going to be about box plots. So Megan grows potatoes. The box plot below shows information about the weights of Megan's potatoes. Megan says that half of her potatoes weigh less than 50 grams each. Is Megan correct? Give a reason for your answer. So now we have to work out the median of her potatoes. To work out the median of our potatoes, we know that from a box plot, this is going to be our median line. This is our median line over here. Okay, that's the median line. So if you look at that, that is going to be 57. So, but then she says her half of her potatoes weigh less than 50 grams. That means she is wrong. We're gonna write no. The median is 57. The median is 57. So half the potatoes weigh. So half weighs less than 57. So you just have to find the median point and then underwrite next reason for your answer. Okay. Now part B, Amy also grows potatoes. The box plot below shows information about the weight of Amy's potatoes. Compare the distribution of the weight of Megan's potatoes with the distribution of the weight of Amy's potatoes. So we have to compare the box plots. Normally, I'm gonna tell you this: whenever you have a box plot question, it always have a part 2 to it, and it always tells you to compare or compare the distribution or something like that. It always comes on all the higher papers. You need to know that. So we have to now. The first thing you can say, we know that this box plot and this box plot is very, very different. So the first thing you can write, so we can write on average, Amy's potatoes weigh less. Amy's potatoes, as you can see, they are a bit down the x-axis, or the thing, weigh less. And then what you can also write is, so you can write lower medium point, that's for the thing. And then once you've written that, you can also write Amy's potatoes are less spread. So we can write Amy has a less interquartile range, has a less/smaller interquartile range. In the chat, do you guys know what interquartile range means? Do you guys know what interquartile range means? Yes, basically it's like the range of our box plot. So it's basically the upper quartile minus our lower quartile together to get basically this specific part over here, okay? So, moving on to our next question. That was easy, 3 marks. Give a thumbs up in the chat if you understand. And then let's move on to our next question. And guys, do not forget to follow. So moving on to our next question, and guys, remember this is a calculator paper, so you can use a calculator, okay? So question number 12, the diagram shows a triangle ABC. ADC and DEB are straight lines, so ADC, this over here, and then DEB, so DEB is a straight line. AD is equal to 4.4. BC is equal to 8.6. They're labeled in our diagram. So E is the midpoint of DB. Angle CDB is equal to 90 degrees. And then angle DCB is equal to 40 degrees. Work out the sides of angle EAD. So we're trying to work out this one, EAD. So this angle right here. Label it X degrees. To give your answer correct to 1 decimal place. So the first thing you would do is that you're going to work out this length over here. This length over here. So we're going to work out this length. I'm going to label it Y degrees. So to work out this specific length, we have to use trigonometry. So our ratio is going to be SOHCAHTOA. That's going to be our acronym that we're going to use to work out which we're going to identify which one we're going to be using, which ratio we're going to be using. So which one are we going to be using? So we know that we have our hypotenuse involved and our opposite side are involved as well. So we're going to be using this one. It's going to be sine theta is equal to opposite divided by the hypotenuse. So we're going to substitute the values in. So you have sine 40 degrees is equal to the opposite, which is y, over 8.6. We need to find the value y. So we have to rearrange this. I'm going to multiply by 8.6 on both sides. then you're going to end up with 8.6. And then sine 40 degrees is equal to y. And then you'll put this into your calculator to get the length of this. So BD is equal to 5.5279. And then it reoccurs. Then it continues. So now once you've gotten that, this is the length of the whole side. So I'm going to rub this out. So we know that's going to be the length. This, so 5.5279 is the length of this whole line. Okay, we know that. But look, it says we know that E is the midpoint of DB. So it's going to be, this is the midpoint. Okay, midpoint. This is calculator paper. So if it's the midpoint, we know that this and this are going to be same in length. To work out what these two are, we have to do this. So BD, so the length of BD is going to be 5.5279 divided by 2 to get something like 2.763. And then remember this, we can put this into a fraction. So I'm going to put it as 80 over 2. Okay, 80 over 2. Or it says one decimal place, so I'm going to quickly round it to 2.8, okay? Why do we divide by 2? Is because, as you can see, we know our length BD is this whole thing over here. BD is equal to 5.5, okay? We need to work out what only this is, okay? We need to work out this length over here. This only length over here. To work this out, we know that this whole length is 5.5, but we have to work. We know that E is the midpoint. We know that it's going to be half the amount, right? It's going to be half the amount because E is the midpoint, and midpoint is always at the middle. So we have to just find it. So we know that this is going to be 2.8. Okay. So now once you've gotten that, we're now going to use another. We're going to do another trigonometry to work out the angle. So to work this out, we know that we have our opposite side involved and our adjacent. So in the chat, what ratio are we using? Are we going to be the tan? Are we going to be using tan, cos, or sine? What are we going to be using? Because we are trying to find the angle here. So we're going to be using the tan ratio. We're going to be using our tan ratio. So we know that tan theta is equal to opposite divided by the adjacent. So we're going to be tan x degrees is equal to opposite, which is 2.8 divided by 4.4. And then to work out the value of x, we have to do the inverse of tan. The inverse of tan is going to be x is equal to the inverse of tan 2.8 over 4.4. And then you're going to get x is equal to 32.1. So 32.1 degrees is going to be your answer. Okay, so well done guys for getting that correct. This is 2019. This paper is from 2019. So guys, give a thumbs up in the chat if you understand. I'm ready to move on to our next question. This question was worth 4 marks. And guys, do not forget to follow. Let's help me reach my live goal for today. So, moving on to our next question. Question number 13. This is from 2019, guys. 2019. So, Sakira invested $3,550 in a savings account for 3 years. She paid 2.6% per annum compound interest for each 4 of the first 2 years. She was paid 0% interest for the 3rd year. Sakira had £3,819.21 in her savings account at the end of the 3 years. Find the value of x. To find the value of x, we have to first of all write this as a whole equation. So we know that she made 3,819.21 at the end of her savings. So first thing you have to do, we can write that she put £3,550 in her bank account. Then she was paid 2.6% interest. So then we have to use our multiplier. It's going to be 1.026 squared. 1.026 squared times the x. So x is going to be our our interest that she got. So it's going to be times by x is equal to 3,819.21. And then we're going to rearrange this. We're going to divide by 3,550 times 1.026 squared from both sides to get x is equal to 3,819.21 over 3,550 times 1.026 squared. Okay? And now once you've gotten that, we can work out the value of x by using your calculator, and you get that is going to be equal to 1.02199. And then you can basically round this to 1.022. And remember, guys, this is our multiplier. That is our multiplier. Okay? We have to work out the value of r. To work out the value of r, we have to work out the percentage. So if we know that our value of x is equal, if this is a multiplier, can someone tell me in the chat what will be our percentage then? What will be our interest rate? If that is a multiplier, remember, use your multiplier rule. What is going to be our percentage? This is going to be 2.2%. Well done, guys. It's going to be 2.2%. Just like that. Well done, get that correct. So that was 3 marks. So moving on to our next question. So Sadia is going to buy a new car. For the car, she can choose one body color, one roof color, and one wheel type. She can choose from 19 different body colors, 25 different wheel types. Total number of ways Sadia can choose the body color and the roof color and the wheel type is 3,325. Work out the number of different roof colors that Sadia can choose from. So we know that there's going to be the product rule for counting. It's going to be the product rule for counting. So the product rule for counting is basically multiply to find like the total combinations. So we know that we're going to do 19 times 25 times the number of rooftops. We're going to do it at x, which is equal to 3,325. So once you've gotten that, we have to work out the number of rooftops. So we're going to be x is going to be equal to 3,325 over 19 times 25. Oh, we know that that's going to be equal to 7, and that is going to be your answer. Very, very easy. That's going to be equal to 7. Okay? Guys, quickly give a thumbs up if you understand, if you like are good with this question. So, yes, guys, this is the higher paper 2 calculator. And now, going on to our next question, we're going to be expanding triple brackets. So, when we're expanding triple brackets, what we're going to do, we're going to first of all multiply these two brackets and then simplify it, and then we're going to multiply this, simplify, and then multiply that. Okay, so we're going to do 3x plus 2 and then 2x plus 1, expand them out. So it's going to be 6x squared plus 3x plus 4x plus 2. So expanded that out. And then you need to then simplify this to 6x squared plus 7x plus 2. So then we're going to put this into our brackets. So we're going to have x minus 5. That's going to be the bracket that remains. And then we have 6x squared plus 7x plus 2. So now we're going to expand this out now. So we're going to do x times by 6x squared, then x times by 7x, and then x times by 2. And then we're going to do negative 5. So we're going to do negative 5 minus 6x squared, minus 5 times 7x, and then minus 5 times 2. Okay, so let's quickly do that. So we're going to end up with 6x cubed. Remember, guys, in the triple bracket questions, you're most likely going to end up with a cube. So plus 7x squared minus 35x plus 2x minus 10. Okay? I'm going to simplify it to 6x cubed minus 23x squared minus 33x minus 10. And that will be your answer. 6x cubed minus 23x squared minus 33 minus 10. So that was easy. 3 marks. When did the live start? So we started this live at around 8:30 today. So I think we've done like an hour. We're an hour into the live. We're an hour into this live. I think we've done half the paper now. So like, you didn't miss that much because like the harder questions is what matters. Okay. So moving on to our next question, guys. We're going to do question number 16. Yeah, I normally start at 7, but today I was running a bit late. Okay, that was my mistake. Anyways, question number 16. Marique has 9 cards. There is a number on each card, so it's labeled 1 to 9. Marique takes at random 2 of the cards. He works out the product of the numbers on the 2 cards. Work out the probability that the product is an even number. We have to work out if the product is an even number. So we know that there is only 3. We know that he can either get odd and odd. So odd times odd. So if he gets 2 odds, that is going to give us an odd number, right? So odd times odd is going to give us an odd number because like 7 times 3 is 21 is an odd number. And then we know that odd times even always gives you even. And then even times even gives you even, okay? So, once you know that these are probabilities, we have to work out the probability that it is odd. Probability that our answer, the probability is going to be odd. To work out the probability is going to be odd. It's going to be odd times odd. So we need to work out the number of odd numbers in our cards. So we know there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 odd numbers. 5 over 9, that is the number odd. That's the probability to get an odd number. And then, if he takes that one card, we're gonna be left with 8 cards left in our deck. And then the probability is gonna take another odd number. It's going to be 4 because there's one less odd number left. There's one less odd card. It's gonna be 4. Okay. We'll work out the probability of that, and that's going to give us 20 over 72. Okay? Which can then be simplified to 5 over 18. Okay? So then we work out the probability is going to be odd. We need to work out the probability is even, okay? So we have to do 1 minus 5 over 18 because we know that probabilities add up to 1 because we know that we have worked out this is equal to 5 over 18. We need to work out what these two are equal to. We know that is going to be equal to 1, right? So it's going to be 18 over 18 minus 5 over 18 to make it easier. It's going to be 13 over 18, and that is going to be your answer. So that was our answer, 13 over 18. So what's the difference between a prime number and a odd number? So prime numbers are numbers that are... Actually, let me tell you this. There is only one even prime number. 2 is the only even prime number. The rest are odd. Okay? So basically, prime numbers are numbers that only have two factors, 1 and itself. And odd numbers are numbers that are just odd, basically. It's the numbers that no one likes, basically. If that's the mathematical explanation. So, moving to our next question. So in the chat, tell me if you like circle theorems. Do you guys like circle theorems? Okay. Because our next, I was asking because our next question is circle theorem. So we have A and B are points on a circle with center 0. CAD is a tangent to the circle at A. BOD is a straight line. Angle ODA is equal to 30 degrees. It's labeled in our diagram. Work out the size of angle CAB. So you're working out this angle right here. So what we need to do is that we know the first thing to work out is that we can work out this specific angle over here. This specific angle over here. So we can work out OAD. We know, so in the chat, can anyone tell me what angle OAD is equal to? What is OAD equal to? So we know that OAD is equal to 90 degrees. Well done. It's 90 degrees. It's because tangent meets the radius at 90 degrees. You need to know like the circle theorem. So tangents meet radius at 90 degrees. Meet radius at 90 degrees. Okay? It says you have to show all your working, so you have to write down the circle theorems. To get your full marks, you have to write down your circle theorems as well. So that's why I'm doing it, to be the role model. So then, once you've gotten that, you know that it's 90 degrees. Then we can work out what this angle over here is, because we know the angles in a triangle adds up to 180 degrees. So we know the angle AOD. So we know that AOD is equal to 58 degrees. It's going to be 58 degrees because angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So now, once we have done that, what we're going to do, we know that this is a straight line. We know that this is a straight line. So we can work out what this angle over here is. So we know that angle BOA is going to be equal to 122 degrees. 122 degrees because angles in a straight line add up. Angles on a straight line sum up to 180 degrees. And now once you have done that, What we can work out now is angle BAO. BAO, this angle over here. How can we work this out? Because this is an isosceles triangle. Guys, remember that these two are points. A and B are points on the circle of the radius. They meet the radius. And if they meet the radius, they are equal. Okay? They are equal. Because both of them are the radius. They are isosceles triangle. So these two angles are equal. These two sides are equal. We can work out this angle and this angle because they are equal. So we know the angle BAO is going to be equal to 180 minus 122 divided by 2, going to be equal to 29 degrees. And then we know the angles at the base of an isosceles triangle are equal at the base of an isosceles triangle are equal. So then, to work out the value of x, we know that tangents meet the radius at 90 degrees. So we just have to do, to get the value of x, we have to do 90 minus 29 to get 61 degrees, and that will be your answer. 61 degrees will be your answer. Okay? It wasn't a very hard question. So I'm going to move on to our next question. So why did we divide by 2? We divided by 2 is because it was an isosceles triangle, and we know that the angles at the base are going to be equal, so you have to divide by 2, okay? So the diagram shows a hemisphere with a diameter of 8.4 centimeters. We need to work out the volume of the hemisphere, giving your answers correct to 3 significant figures. To work out the volume of the hemisphere, a hemisphere is half a sphere. Remember that. A hemisphere is half a sphere. So the volume of the hemisphere, the formula to work out the volume of a hemisphere, so the volume of hemisphere is equal to 2 over 3 pi r cubed. Okay, it's going to be a half of the fraction. And our rate is going to be 4.2 because our diameter is 8.4. It'll be 2 over 3 pi and then 4.2 pi, 4.2 cubed. Okay? We put it into calculator and you will get 155 centimeters. Very, very easy. 155 centimeters. Where did I get 2 over 3 from? Is because a hemisphere is half a sphere. So we have to half the fraction to get our answer, to get our formula for the hemisphere. Okay? So, moving on to our next question. Question number 20. So D is equal to 1/8 of C cubed. Yes, cubed. C is equal to 10.9, correct to 3 significant figures. By considering bounds, work out the value of D to a suitable degree of accuracy. Give a reason for your answer. So basically, we're going to use our lower and upper bound of C to work out the value of D. Okay? So, to work out the lower bound for D, lower D, it's going to be 10.85. So the lower bound for 10.9 is going to be 10.85, okay? So lower D is going to be 1 over 8 and then 10.85 cubed, which will get you 159.661, and then it's going to keep on going, okay? And then to work out the upper D, Can someone tell me in the chat what is the upper bound for 10.9? If it's 10.9 and it's rounded to 3 significant figures, what is going to be the upper bound? And if the lower bound is 8.5, what's going to be the upper bound? It's going to be 10.95. Well done. 10.95 then cubed, which will give you an answer of 154.116. So now once we have done that, now it says we have to work out the value of d to a suitable degree of accuracy. So it's a suitable degree of accuracy. So we know that if we round both of the numbers to 2 significant figures, if we round to 2 significant figures for both of the numbers, you would get 160 for both of them. Since again it's the same answer, that is a suitable degree of accuracy. So you have to work out which one you have to round to make them all both the same. Because if you round it to 2 significant figures, you get 160. Round to 2 significant figures, you get 160 as well. Okay? And that will be your answer. Well done guys for getting that correct. Give a thumbs up in the chat if you're ready to move on to our next question. So the suitable degree of accuracy is you have, after you work out the lower and upper bound, what you need to do is you have to work out which number you round it up. So how many significant figures you round it to. So in this case, you had to round it to 2 significant figures, is because when you round it to 2 significant figures, you get 160. So you have to basically find which significant figure you have to round to, so you can make both of them round to the same number. Okay? Because if you round it to 2 significant figures, you get 160. That is what is meant by suitable degree of accuracy. Okay? This is paper 2019, past paper 2 calculator. Higher. And guys, remember this is 4-mark question, okay? That is a lot of marks. So moving on to our next question. So here is a speed time graph for a train journey between 2 stations. The journey took 100 seconds. Calculate the time taken by the train to travel half the distance between 2 stations. You must show all your working. So the distance, so we know that speed is equal distance over time. Speed is equal distance over time. But in this case, we are given the speed and we're given the time. We can work out the distance it travels. To work out the distance it's traveled, we know we have to do distance, because first of all we know that speed. We know that speed is equal distance over time. Then we can work out distance by doing speed times time. Okay, to work out our distance. Okay, so we're gonna do exactly that. To work out that, we have to do 20 seconds times by 10. Yes, it's going to be 30. It's going to be 30. Work out the distance from here to here. It's going to be 30. And then it's going to be 13 over there. So, I mean, that's going to be 12. So it's going to be 12 times 30. Going to be equal to 360. And remember, I have to divide it by 2 because I have to travel half the distance between 2 points. It's going to be divided by, it's going to be 180. So we have to divide by 2 as well. It's going to be a half times 120 times 3 is equal to 180. It's because it's 30 seconds over here and that's going to be 12 meters per second. That's the speed, and then you half it because it travels half the distance. Okay, it's half the distance. Then do the same thing with the rest of them to work out from here to here. So we're gonna do it from here to this one over here. Let's do this part. That is going to be 50 times 12. So from here to here is gonna be 50 meters. 50 seconds over here. And then it's going to be from 12 to 12. It's gonna be 50 times 12. 600. And then the slope down after the half times 20 times 12. Yes, so basically you're finding the area of the shape underneath. That'll give you 120 degrees. So basically work out the area is because this is a triangle, guys. So this is making a triangle. To work out the total distance traveled, we're gonna work out the area of this triangle, this specific triangle over here, and then that's what you divide by 2. It's gonna be length times width times divided by 2. Okay. But finally, we are not finished. We have to add them all up. So we have to do 180 plus 120 plus 600 to get 900. Okay. That is the total traveled. Okay. I'm gonna have to wrap this up because I don't have space to do the rest of the working. So I'm gonna quickly write. So we know that distance equal area under the graph. Okay. Which is equal to 900 meters. And now, once we have done that, we are not going to forget this is 180. This is 180 meters. And over here to over here, it's 600 meters. And this is 120 meters, okay? And now, once we have done that, it says we have to tell the time taken by the train to travel half the distance between the two stations. So we do 900 divided by 2. 900 divided by 2 is going to give us half the distance. So we do 900 divided by 2 to give us half the distance. 450 meters. And then we have to do half the time. 270 divided by 12. And that will be 22.5. That is the number of seconds. And then you have to add it to our 30 seconds, which will get you 52.5 seconds. And that will be your answer, okay? So, that'll be your answer. Actually, what you do is that you need to find out half the distance, work out half the distance, right? Basically, to work out the seconds, because it's half the distance, to work out the number of seconds, what you need to do is that you do 270 divided by 12, because there are, as you can see, we have this. Because if we do 450 minus 180, we are trying to work out this part over here, the 720 over here. So let me quickly, I actually don't have to explain this part. This part over here, which is 720 meters. So basically the answer is 52.5. Let's look at distance time graph. I'm actually not very good at explaining distance time graph for some reason. I just know how to do it. So, for part B, says compare the acceleration of the train during the first part of the journey with the acceleration of the journey during the last part of the journey. And so basically, this is the easiest one because we know that the acceleration is positive on the first part of the journey. Acceleration is positive for the first part. And negative for the second, okay? And that's how you would basically put it, okay? So now moving on to our next question. Just give us a quick thumbs up if you're ready to move on to our next question. So you just have to work out the area of the area under the graph to work out distance. I feel like this question is worded very, very weird. That's just to confuse the people that are doing the test. So, question number 22. A number of rabbits on the farm at the end of a month N is Pn. This is iterations basically. So the number of rabbits at the end of the next month is given by P is equal to N plus 1 is equal to 1.2, then Pn is minus 50. At the end of March, there are 200 rabbits on the farm. Work out how many rabbits there will be on the farm at the end of June. So we know that is at the end we have at the end of March there are 200 rabbits on the farm. So it says March, April, May, June. We have to work how many there are at June. So after March, I'm gonna actually test you guys. What is the next month after March? What is the month that comes after March? What is the month that comes after March? Okay, so you guys know your months. That's a good thing. So it's April. Because if you do not know your months, then you can't answer this question correctly. Because you need to know your order, okay? April. So it's equal to P, which is equal to 1.2, so 1.2 which is there, and then our 200 rabbits minus 50. Okay? 200 minus 50, but you substitute it in, and then you get equal to 190. Now we do the same thing. So what comes after April? What comes after April, guys? So we're gonna repeat the steps until we get to June. So what comes after April is gonna be May. Okay? So May is equal to P is equal to 1.2, and this answer over here, 190 minus 50. And then you're gonna get equal to 178, and then lastly you'll get June, which is gonna be P is equal to 1.2, and then 178 minus 50, which will give you 163.6. And now, obviously, we know that our answer will not be 163.6 because you can't have a point rabbit. You can't have a 0.68 rabbits. It has to be a whole number, obviously. So we're going to round it up to 164, and that will be your answer. Okay? That will be your answer. Very, very easy. Okay? So, it says, considering results in part here, says what will happen to the number of rabbits on the farm after a long time. As you can see, our trend, as we can see, is that our number of rabbits are decreasing over time. So after a long time, the number of rabbits will keep reducing the number of rabbits will keep reducing until there is none left. This is Edexcel. This is Edexcel. So that was an easy question. I found like iterations are quite easy. So moving on to our next question. The diagram shows a parallelogram. So this topic is iterations. So if I spell it out, iteration. So this is a topic name. You want to look at it, because never get confused about this n+1, okay, thingy. So the diagram shows a parallelogram. The area of the parallelogram is greater than 15 centimeters squared. Shows that 2x squared minus 21x plus 40 is less than 0. So to work this out, what we need to do, we have to split this parallelogram up into 2 triangles. So we can split this up into 2 triangles. Now once we split this up, to work out the area of the triangle, what we need to do, we have to use our formula for the area of triangle. So who knows what's the formula, guys? Do you guys know what the formula is? So the formula is half times AB sine C. That is our formula that you need to know for the area of the triangle. Okay? That is when you do not know when you do not know the perpendicular height or the base. That's the only time we use this formula. So you're gonna use the formula. So it's gonna be half, and then A is gonna be, this one's gonna be 10 minus x, and then 2x minus 1. And then it's gonna be sine 150 degrees, which is greater than 15 over 2. It's going to be 15 over 2 because, first of all, this is going to be, we are working out the area of the triangle, which is half a parallelogram. So we are working out the area of this part of the parallelogram, which is half the parallelogram, okay? So that means it's going to be 15 over, it's going to be 50, it's going to be half of 15, okay? So then what we're going to do, we're going to expand our brackets over here. We're going to expand this bracket over here. Very easy to expand that out. It's going to end up with half, then 20x minus 10 minus 2x squared plus x, then a half. Remember, sine 150 degrees is going to be a half, which is greater than 15 over 2. Now, once you have done that, you will do 1/2 times a half, which will give you a quarter, and you'll simplify, it's going to be a quarter. And then 21x minus 2x squared minus 10, which is less than 15 over 2. And then lastly, what you need to do, you're going to basically want to get rid of this 4, so you're going to actually multiply by 4. We're going to be divided by a quarter, so multiply by 4. So then you would get 21x minus 2x squared minus 10, which is less than 30. Now we have to make this the same. So basically what we have to do is that we have to first of all minus 30 on both sides. When you subtract 30 from both sides, you would get minus 2x squared. And it's going to be plus 20. plus 21x minus 40, which is greater than 0. Last thing we have to do, we have to switch the sign. When you switch the sign, you're gonna have minus. You're gonna have positive 2x. It's gonna be 2x squared minus 21x plus 40, which is less than 0. So basically, when you switch the sign, basically what you need to do, you have to switch every single symbol, every single operation to the opposite, and that's how you would do it. Okay. It's a long process, but you will get to the end. Now it says find the range of the possible values of x. So now, yes, you guys are correct. Now we actually have to factorize this to work out our possible values of x. So to do this, we're gonna using our splitting method. So there's a splitting method for factorization. So that AC method basically. So you're gonna do 2 times 40. You will get 80. Then we're gonna use gonna be 1 and 80, 2 and 40, 3 and 20, 4 and not 3 and 20. It's gonna be 4 and 20, and 5 and 16. We're gonna be using our 5 and 16 numbers as they add up to as they multiply as they actually add up to get to negative 21. So then we're going to do 2x squared minus 5x minus 16x plus 40. So basically split them up using our two values from there. You should know how to factorize. Very, very simple. Like that. And then we're gonna actually do this. We're gonna factorize this like half and half, okay? So we're gonna do this part and then this part over here. So you factorize this part and take out the x. When you take out the x, you're going to get 2x minus. You're gonna get 2x minus 5, and then you'll factorize the other one because you're gonna factorize out the negative 16. So let me factorize this out. Factorize the negative 16 to get x minus 5. Okay. No, factorize out the 8. Sorry. Because the way I'm doing it slowly, you have to like find out that the two brackets over here have to be the same. So you have to be careful what you're factorizing out. Okay? Factorize out the negative 8. Okay? And now once you have done that, you know that these two brackets are the same. You can put them together into one, and then these two terms, you can combine them to get to x minus 8, and that's going to be your factorized form. And then you can work out the value of x. So x will be equal to 5 over 2, and then x is equal to 8. And then you put this as an inequality. So we know that this one is going to go first as a smaller. It's going to be 5 over 2, which is going to be, and then which is less than x, and which is less than 8. Okay. So tomorrow, can we do that paper 3 higher? Yes, I'll do paper 3 tomorrow. Guys, do not forget to follow. I do live every single day. Yes, tomorrow I'll be doing higher, okay? Just letting you know, tomorrow is going to be higher paper. So how long do we have left? So we only have two questions. We only have two questions. So let's go to those two questions. So square ABCD is transformed by a combined transformation of a reflection in the line x is equal to -1. Under the combined transformation, two vertices of the square ABCD are invariant and describe fully one possible rotation. Now, when it says invariant, what does it mean? Does anyone know what the word invariant means? This word over here, we have the word invariant. You guys actually should know what it means because it can actually come on your exam. See, let's stick it in your head when I tell you. Which basically it means unmoved. It means unmoved. Okay? So if I repeat it says under the combined transformation, two vertices of the square ABCD are unmoved. Okay, are unmoved. They are not moved at all. We have to describe fully one possible rotation. Now, whenever we're trying to work out the rotation, first of all, what you write the degrees, so the how much it rotates, and then you write the center of rotation. Okay, so the coordinates. Okay, that's all the two things you write when you are doing the rotation transformation. So it says ABCD transformed by combined transformation of a reflection in the line x is equal to -1. Under the combined transformation, two vertices of the ABCD are unmoved. Describe fully one possible rotation. So the rotation it could have done is that I think A and D are gonna be unmoved. If you rotate it, we know it's gonna be 180 degrees. We know that's gonna be 180 degrees. 180 degrees. We have to work out the center of rotation. Now, the only way you can work out the center of rotation, what you need to do is that you have to use a scaling paper. And we know that is a reflection at line x -1. So if this is our reflection over here, x -1, this is our reflection line. So then we know that it's going to be over here. So it's going to be 1, 2, 1, 2. It's going to be here, like that. This is our reflected one. So then we know this is our reflected one, right? We have to work out the center of rotation that will go from this shape to this shape over here, okay? We have to work out the center of rotation which goes from this shape to this shape, okay? So it's going to be 180 degrees and the center is going to be center -1, 4. So after your long trial and error using a scaling paper, it's going to be this one over here. That's going to be center of rotation. Okay? Well done, guys, for getting that correct. So, lastly, moving on to our last question of the paper. It's a 5-mark question. So, the straight line L has the equation of 3x plus 2y is equal to 17. So, the point A has a coordinate of 0, 2. The straight line M is perpendicular to L and passes through A. Line L crosses the y-axis at point B, and lines L and M intersect at point C. We need to work out the area of triangle ABC. So the first thing we have to do is we have to work out the equation of line M. Work out the equation of line M. So the first thing you would do is that we know that we have to write our equation of a line in the format y is equal to mx plus c. So it's going to be y is equal to mx plus c. And then we know that m is the gradient and the c is our y-intercept. So when we rearrange, it's going to go from 3x plus 2y is equal to 17. And then it's going to be 2y is equal to minus 3x plus 17. And then it's going to be y is equal to negative 3 over 2 plus 17 over 2. So basically divide by 2. So you get that, okay? So you rearrange line L to that. And now once you've done that, we know that when we have perpendicular lines, perpendicular means that they meet at 90 degrees, okay? Oh yeah, I forgot x. X, going to go there. Okay. So if our line is perpendicular, so we know that the gradient of line M, the gradient of M is going to be equal to what? 2 over 3. Yes, the gradient is going to be the negative reciprocal. This is our gradient for line L, which is negative 3 over 2. If we do the negative reciprocal to get the gradient of M, the negative reciprocal of minus 3 over 2 is going to be just 2 over 3. That is going to be your negative reciprocal, and that's going to be the gradient of line M. Okay? And now, once you have done that, we work out the gradient of line M. Now we can work out what the actual equation is. So the equation of the line M is going to be y is equal to 2 over 3x plus we have to work out the y-intercept. As you can see, we know that it passes through the point 0, 2. We can easily say that it's going to be 2 because when the x-axis is 0 and then the y-axis is 2, we know that it crosses at 2. So that is basically our equation of line M. So we worked that out. Now once that we worked that out, we know that line L crosses the y-axis at point B. And then line L and M intersect at point C. So we know that point A is equal to 0, 2. It's given in the question. And then we need to work out point B. What is going to be point B? Because it crosses at point B. Line L crosses at point B. And point B is going to be this y-intercept of gradient of line L, which is going to be 17, 2. So 0, 17, 2. That is going to be the coordinates of our point B. Okay? So once you have done that, you identified our points. Now what you need to do, you know that L and M intersect. L and M intersect at point C. We have to work out what that point C is. To work out what that point C is, then we can work out our area of the triangle that it makes. So I'm going to draw like a line over here so I don't mix it up, because I'm going to use this paste over here at the end to work out the area. So we know that line L and M intersect. So line L and M intersect. And that equation we're going to write here as minus 3 over 2x plus 17 over 2. That's going to be the equation of line L and the equation of the line M merged together into one equation. And then you're gonna find the value of our x. So when multiply by 2 to get minus 3x plus 17 is equal to 4 over 3x plus 4. And then you are going to multiply by 3 to get rid of that. It's going to be negative 9x plus 51, which is equal to 4x plus 12. And then once you have done that, you will minus plus 9x from both sides to get 51 is equal to 4x plus, not 4x, we are adding 9x, sorry, you're adding 9x. So the 4 plus 9 was going to be 13x plus 12. And then lastly, you would minus 12 to get 39 is equal to 13x. So now once you have done that, we know that x is equal to 3. Then you work out the value of our x. We can then substitute it into our equation for line M. So we know that x is equal to 3, so we need to work out the points, we need to work out the y value to work out our coordinate for point C. So when you substitute it in, let's substitute it in, so we know that y is going to be equal to 2 over 3, and then 3 plus 2. You know that we're going to be equal to, y is going to be equal to 4. So we know that point C is going to be equal to 3 over 4. So now, once we have done that, finally you have to work out the area of our triangle. So the area is going to be length times width, base times height divided by 2. I believe it should be, or it might be the formula. I think it might be, it's going to be the normal, the easy formula. I think it might be the easy formula. So when you have this now, you have to actually have to kind of draw the triangle. Let's draw it like this. So imagine this is going to be 0, 2. So it's going to be 0, 2 over here. There's going to be 0, then 17 over 2. Over 2. And over here, it will be 3 over 4. And then you know that the x-axis is going to be 3. That's going to be a field base. And our height is going to be 6.5. 6.5 and 3. It's going to be half times 6.5 times by 3, which will give you your area of your shape, which is going to be 9.75. And that will be your final answer, 9.75. So the process might be long, but you just need to find the equations, substitute it in, find the equation line M, find the 3 points, draw them out visually, and then you can find the area, okay? Find the area. So, guys, do not forget to follow I Do Live every single day. Where did I get point B from? Point B is the y-intercept of line L. Okay?